How's it going, you guys? Back again with another update. So I just had the flex disc change on the C55. Really happy that I did because, as you guys will see, they were definitely in need of being replaced. At the same time, I also had the center bearing and the bearing support replaced. I just figured while we're in there, might as well get both of them done. I could have done this job at home, but really I've saved myself quite a bit of money from doing all of this other work on this car that I have. And this is just one that I just didn't feel like doing. Maybe if I had a lift, I would have gone for it, but doing it on the ground and having the biggest thing that I didn't want to do it, or reason I didn't want to do it, was because you have to drop the exhaust, at least on the driver's side. And I just did not want to mess with the exhaust bolts and have to deal with if they get stripped or they break or whatever, have to replace those as well. It just becomes a nightmare. So I'd rather have somebody that has a lift take care of it. So I used a place called Park Place Limited. They're up here in Bellevue area. And I've used them before. They're pretty much the only shop that I'll take my car to that I trust. That still charges a lot less than a dealer would for work, and they usually warranty their work as well for 12-month unlimited miles. So that's a really cool tool too. And the guy that works there, Adam, he's always great with all the work he does, and he's pretty reputable around the area. So that's where I had it done. Super happy with that. The only thing I'm not happy with is that they washed the car after they're done, and they did not do a good job. And I just really didn't want anyone washing the car because I have my way of doing it. And anyways, not that big a deal, but it was a nice gesture, but I would have preferred not to. Anyways, let's take a look, and you guys will see why I'm happy they got replaced. So check it out. All right, so here's the box of the old stuff. I asked them to put all the old stuff back in here just because, I mean, number one, it's proof that they did everything that I asked. Number two, I really genuinely wanted to know what kind of shape they were in. So let me see if I can set this camera up so that I can kind of flex these back and forth and show you guys how bad the rubber is actually on these, because they don't look that bad on appearance. I mean, you can see some dry cracking, definitely around, and I mean, you can tell they're, and once you get to the outside edges, you can really see it starting to flake off. But let me actually flex these and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so let me see if you guys can see this stuff. So as I flex it, you can definitely see in those seams, yeah, like there, these are definitely cracked through in different spots. So definitely super happy I replaced these when I did, because I mean, that would be the worst, to have something silly like this just break, and it's going to mess up everything else. It's going to mess up your transmission, or it's going to mess up your driveline or your differential or what else. So, yeah, they call for like every 10 years you should replace these no matter what, just because it's a rubber product and rubber is going to dry out after 10 years. So, yeah, it was time. So glad we did it. I'll show you guys the bearings too. Hold on. All right, and then here was the bearing and the center support. You can see the center support without even me flexing or anything is already cracked. So it hangs the other way like this. I believe, or no, actually it does stay like this in the car. So this is bolted up to the car. And even just moving this bearing around, I mean, you can hear a little bit of kind of crunching in there, and it's just seen better days. So, yeah, definitely recommend if you're going to get in there and do the flex disc. I know it's easy to just kind of shift the drive shaft back and forth and just change the flex disc, but if those are ready to go, this is definitely on its way out. The bearing might last a long time, but the center support, it needs to be aligned properly. So if you're going to get in there and change the flex disc, chances are this rubber is worn out. And if that rubber is worn out, then this has been, getting extra pressure from not being aligned properly. So just do them all at once. That's kind of my motto with that. And then here's all the hardware. They're all still in pretty good shape, actually. Like, I'm sure you could reuse this stuff and get away with it if you really needed to, but all of my parts came with new hardware anyway, so yeah, didn't have to. But the bolts and everything are still in really good shape. No rust or anything, just dirt. But yeah, they look good. So something I got in a debate about, and I think I mentioned this in one of the other videos, but something I got in a debate about on MBWorld with a guy who, he was trying to be helpful, and at first I thought he may have been correct, but for the flex disc numbers, the part numbers, the rear disc. So this was the debate. The front disc, everyone knows the part. It's easy. FCP Euro carries it for the C55, but they don't carry the rear. And I had asked them what the part number was. So they told me it is A203 right here, 410-0815. However, when I kept checking online, just searching different, like Amazon, eBay, all these different sites, I kept seeing the number 203, what was it? Let's see. Let's look on this one. So yeah, I kept seeing this number. So 203-411-0215. So I posted this on MBWorld and I asked, like, hey, which one is correct? Because I was just confused. I was getting two different things, and one from a reputable source, but I saw these interchangeable part numbers from all these other sites, and I was like, well, they have everything else right, so how would that be wrong? So I went to MBWorld, and the guy was kind of blasting me, like, no, there's no way. Send me your VIN. I can give you all of the information for your car. I know it's the same one because I just ordered for my car, blah, blah, blah. And he was being helpful, so I get it. Like, he's trying to help out. But I ended up just emailing the Bilstein group directly because they're in charge of Phoebe Bilstein, this company, if you don't know. This is from the front flex disc, which is from FCP Euro. So I emailed them directly, and I was seeing multiple part numbers. And they basically boiled it down to that number that I was giving him, which you can see is on this one, the 002 number, is for the flex disc itself. So the individual piece of the flex disc with no hardware. The 08 number is for the same flex disc, but with the bolts included. So I wasn't upset, but I was just like, why are you telling me I have the wrong part number just because he thought that, I don't know what he thought really, but yeah. So if you wanted to, you could just order the flex disc by itself and reuse your hardware, and I guess save yourself some money. It's not really that much of a difference. So once I figured that out, it really was, I posted that in the post. It wasn't about the money. I just wanted to know why I was getting these two different part numbers. So yeah, I'm about acquiring the knowledge, and that's the only reason I was asking. So I ended up commenting back and editing my original post and saying, hey, after this, long kind of back and forth, this is what I found. This part number is correct. It's just for the flex disc itself and not for the kit with the hardware. And that guy never responded. So I don't know if he saw it or not, but anyways, more knowledge for you guys out there, so you have options. The part numbers are also interchangeable with like Phoebe's part number, Mercedes part number, and what was the other? Melee and Swag or something. One of those, I think it's Swag actually. Swag, which is also a reputable German manufacturer for parts. They had a really good deal for that flex disc by itself. Like, it was only like $60 compared to like anywhere from $130 to $200 for the kit. So that's why I was gonna check, because I was like, well, if it's $60 compared to $130 for just the flex disc alone, and I'll reuse the hardware, then that's fine with me. But that one ended up being out of stock anyway. So I just got the kit. So that is it. And I will get back to you guys with how it is after changing them. So after changing the flex disc, the biggest noticeable improvement is it just feels a lot more solid. You can just tell. It's kind of hard to explain, to be honest. It was the same thing when I changed them on my last car. It was a W202, a compressor. It was the same thing. Like after I changed them out, it's not like this drastic change, but it's noticeable and it just feels more solid. And you also have that kind of peace of mind of like, all right, they're good. They're not gonna do anything crazy like explode on you or disintegrate. And to be honest, when I got under the car and I was looking at it, I've been babying my car because I was just worried, like those are pretty dry cracked. I did not want something silly to happen if I was just gassing it and have some disintegrate on the road or something and mess up everything else. So yeah, I was definitely kind of driving cautious for a while until I had them changed. It's not like I beat on my car anyways, but yeah, I was definitely being cautious and driving a little more careful than normal. So yeah, I highly recommend, like, take a look at least any Mercedes that you have, the sedans, as long as it's not four-wheel drive. I'm not sure if the four-wheel drive 4MATICs use flex disc or not. I assume they probably would somewhere, at least one. But if you have any rear-wheel drive model, definitely get on there and check if it's getting up there in years or mileage. Just give yourself the opportunity to at least see under the car and see how it looks, or have your mechanic, whoever else works on your car, take a look and tell you what kind of shape they're in. Because that would just be a terrible, have something like that fail, and it can cause like catastrophic fail of your transmission. It can rip the shifter out of your car. Like it can do damage. And you don't want that to happen. So, and not only that, if that happened to you on the road, say you're on the freeway and one of those things decided to fail, I mean, you're talking, that's potential for danger for yourself, for anyone who's in the car with you, or for other people that are out on the road. You do not want a drive shaft dropping down when you're going 60 miles per hour and who knows, man, lifting your car up or flying out and hitting somebody else. Like, that's just asking for trouble. So not to make people paranoid, but yeah, just inspect them. I mean, if they're a tiny bit of cracking, chances are they're not going to just blow up out of nowhere. But if you've checked them and they're kind of progressively getting worse, or you know that they're over 10 years old and haven't been changed, just do it, man. Peace of mind. The cost for labor, he charged me, I think it was 3.5 hours of labor, which I was about $475 out the door. And for them to drop the drive shaft, pull the bearing, put the bearing back in, balance the drive shaft, install it with both flex discs again, that's about right for that kind of work, especially for a car like this. If you go to your local mechanics, you can definitely get a better deal than that. I'd say probably around $300 if you went to a different mechanic. But because I saved myself so much money working on my car with all this other stuff, I really didn't mind. When I know that this is probably one of the only jobs that I won't do myself, I just didn't mind paying an extra little bit to know that it's coming from a shop that I really trust and don't really have to worry about. So that's worth paying an extra $150 for me. So just do what's best for you. And you can always do it yourself. If you had a lift, or if you don't mind getting on the ground and doing it, I don't mind, but I've been doing so much other stuff, doing the control arms and stuff. I just did not want to do this one. I didn't want to tackle it. So I left it up for the other guys. But yeah, that's it. It drives great. More videos coming up soon. This is just a quick video so that you guys know. I will link all the part numbers down below, and where you guys can find them. I'll give you those alternates as well, since there was a big debate about the part numbers and stuff. I'll let you guys see what I was talking about. But until then, yeah, just stay on the lookout. Definitely have the control arm video coming up. And then the plans for the summer, I've actually been looking into limited slip differentials and getting one of those installed. Probably a M factory. And then I'm still trying to find, hey, quiet. I'm still trying to find, this is Hannah. Hey, you okay? You okay? So I'm still trying to find that Eibach rear sway bar. I've emailed Eibach and I'm waiting on their response. Hopefully I get a response, and if I don't, then I'll get the H&R, but I really want the Eibach one, so I'm trying to hold out because my car handles pretty good right now, so I'm not like in dire need, but I know that I would be happier with the Eibach one, so I'm trying to hold out until I can find it. But yeah, rear sway bar, differential, possibly. It's not like top priority, but it'd be really cool to have. And then subframe bushings and differential bushing. That's a big thing. And I've also been looking at the possibility, because I know I want to do coilovers eventually. I would really like to do spring over shock instead of spring separate. So I've been looking at how I could convert that bucket control arm to just a regular control arm so that I could run spring over shock and not have them separate. So please chime in if you guys think that's a terrible idea. I know it's risky because it changes the geometry of the whole suspension that they design and stuff, but I've seen like SK815, I think that's his name, he's designing all the suspension for him for his own car. He did the E55, and now he's doing the like track tube car. And he was running like cantilever suspension on the E55, so I'm sure if I did it properly, it wouldn't be that much of an issue. So that's something I would really like to do moving forward. So hopefully I can find somebody that has something that I could get that done with. I know this guy Snoozy on eBay that sells a bunch of adjustable control arms and camber kits for W203s and a bunch of other Mercedes. I know he has some pieces that I think might work, so I'm trying to get in touch with him. But yeah, lots of ideas, man. The other thing I'm going to try this summer is, and really in the next few weeks, is I'm going to try to really take care of the car and get it kind of beautified a little bit. I really want to do some paint correction. Like I said, the paint's not in the best shape. It still looks okay, especially because it's silver, but really want to do some kind of paint correction and possibly some type of coating. I'm not that big on the ceramic coatings, but at least some type of wax or sealant. Yeah, besides that, the car is solid. It's driving great. Super happy with it, but it's kind of just like, I don't know, it's just a passion. Just want to keep adding to it, so that's the plan. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it, and it's not even about me appreciating it. It's cool for me to be able to share that stuff and then interact. Like I said before, it's just nice. It's really cool that YouTube exists in the first place. Just have this platform to kind of chop back and forth with all this car stuff and everything else that's on there. So thank you guys. Anders N signing out. See you guys next time.